What's up, everyone?
What's going on, family? Arango Tango here.
Arango Tango here. I feel like this video is really long awaited. We've wanted to talk about this for a while, but we've just been kind of trying to wait for the right time. And I don't know, we just feel like now's a good time. So today we're gonna talk to you guys about our experiences trying to get pregnant.
Make some more Arangos.
Never been patient, feels like I'm waiting forever to say this.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the whole goal.
been a long journey that all started in like 2016, and there's a video that talks about how we found out we were infertile. So you can watch that before you watch this if you'd like, but you can watch this and then watch the other one, whatever. But yeah, it started in 2016. We started getting actually like active about it in 2019 because of me. Because I was just so afraid. I was really afraid of everything that I knew I would have to do in order to become pregnant. And then one day, it took 3 years for me to become more afraid of not ever being a mother than I was of doing what I had to do in order to get pregnant.
Which is a whole sermon, like that's a whole word, but.
Yeah, so once I finally became more afraid of the idea of never being a mother, I put on my big girl panties and started the journey of doing what we had to do. And so it begins in the spring of 2019. We did an IUI.
Yeah.
An IUI, we'll give you the definition here. So it's a very like low-key, not that intense procedure. It's a short process. It probably takes like, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks maybe. They just turkey baste you pretty much. That's the real way to do it. But they just time your when you ovulate in order to when they put the sperm inside of you in order for it to be the ideal time to do it.
Yeah, but your sperm still has to do a lot of swimming, right? So they put
the sperm to the back of the uterus to make the journey of the sperm shorter.
I just knew based on the doctor's recommendations that our chances with an IUI were really low. But I'm like, why not, right?
Why not?
Like I think it was like $500.
Yeah, and
right?
a lot of doctors say that most couples ease themselves into the idea of IVF with an IUI.
Yeah, I knew that if we were gonna make it, like through this whole journey, that I couldn't strong arm Tia. The doctor told us like, this isn't a high chance. I was believing for a miracle and knowing that even if a miracle didn't happen, that my wife would get more comfortable with the idea of doing IVF.
I was on pills, I think, but it was really like, it was easy stuff. And then I remember they took me off of the pill. I went in, they took me off of the pill and said, you wait a day and then you do your injection this Friday. And then when you come in the next day or Monday, I can't remember, then we'll do the sperm and you'll be all set. And I remember saying to the doctor, are you sure you want to take me off of these pills? Like, I know my body.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm gonna ovulate before I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we should keep me on it so that I don't ovulate early. And the doctor he seemed like a little frustrated that I would question the way he would do the procedure and kind of was like, we know what we're doing. We're gonna take you off. And he took me off of the pill, and the next day, I felt myself ovulating because it's called Middlesberg's or something like that, where you can
We'll put the word down here again.
You can feel yourself ovulating, and I felt it, and I knew, I'm like, this is over. Like, yeah, I'm ovulating. And I called the office, and I'm like, hey, I'm pretty certain that I'm ovulating right now. I tried to tell the doctor that this was gonna happen. He wasn't really listening, so can you guys, like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And they told me to come in immediately, get blood work done, and then they'll let me know if I was correct. They did the blood work. I was correct.
Of course.
I had ovulated, and so they were pretty much like, you can just either stop now. The money's gone. The money's gone. So either way, you can stop now, or we can still go through with it.
We can still do the procedure
and just hope for the best. And so they moved my procedure up, obviously, because I had been ovulating. And then we decided we were gonna do it anyway, because we're like, yo, God can do anything. Like, let's just try it. So we did the procedure anyway, and after like 2 weeks, I got my period, and it didn't work, and I was hurt. And I knew in the back of my mind, like, we're gonna have to do IVF, and I don't want to. I'm scared.
Now, mind you, through everything. This is back in 2016. When Tia first started saying, I don't want to do IVF, the moment she said, I don't want to do IVF, I thought, we're going to have to do IVF.
God's gonna have us do IVF.
Yeah, like, because God cares about your development as a person more than he cares about the goal or the outcome or the blessing, right? God cares more about the development of the dreamer than he cares about whatever the dream is.
So we started slowly discussing the possibility of IVF, and the crazy thing is, when we posted that video about how we found out we were infertile, a girl reached out to me. Her name's Wanda. She reached out to me on social media and told me she had heard our story and was just really encouraged and kind of wanted to talk. And so we started talking a lot just about dealing with it, and she found a fertility clinic in Barbados, and she is a go-getter. Like, the girl, when she wants to do something, she gets it done. She doesn't waste time. So she told me, like, yeah, we're going to Barbados in a couple months. Like, we're getting this. I want to have children. We're doing it. And she did it and had children.
Twins.
Got pregnant with twins, and she told me that it was an amazing experience in Barbados. She loved it, and I was like, okay, I think that I'm just gonna have to suck it up and go to Barbados, because our experience with American doctors, infertility doctors, had been pretty bad.
We were
like, I
0
would
for 2
give
at
it
that
a
point.
B- and lower. And when it comes to fertility, you just can't. You have to be comfortable and feel encouraged and loved and cared for, because it's such a sensitive thing. And so I wasn't willing to budge on that.
Yeah.
And so she told me that Barbados was amazing, and so me and Manny started talking about it.
One of the other big factors, though, in us choosing to go to Barbados was because it was a lot cheaper.
It was a lot way cheaper than anything we had discovered in America. Like, I mean, 50% of the price of American fertility treatment.
Now, it was still $15,000.
Yeah,
So
because
IVF
it was
is
flights.
mad money.
Yeah, well, but that was flights and staying in another country for 2 weeks and eating for 2 weeks in another country. It added up, but the actual procedure of IVF was 50% of what it is in America.
For sure.
And also the staff was it was all women,
And
which was important.
And a lot of people of color.
And that was important to me, because I had felt not heard here by doctors, which is a whole nother video again, because that's typical of Black women in this country. We're not listened to, we're not believed. And so it was important to me and cool to me that, we're going to a Black country, and I just felt like I'll be taken care of here. And anytime we got on the phone with the doctors, it was just so encouraging. And Barbados is a Christian country. Everything was in line, and we ordered all of my medication. And so I had to start injections while I was still in America. Mm-hmm. And then the bulk of all 4 injections a day, which I didn't know, would be in Barbados. But I'm so glad I didn't know, because I think it would have psyched me out. I would have been overwhelmed. But so I was taking injections in America, and my sister Imara I would drive to her house every day, because I had to take an injection every day at 7 p.m. in my hip. And I would drive to her house, or she would graciously come to me wherever I was and give me these injections every day. And she's a doctor, so it didn't hurt. It took the edge off in my mind of grasping that, I have to do this every day. And so we did that first week of injections. It was fine. And then we flew to Barbados. Mm-hmm. When we got to Barbados, our first meeting at the hospital, you wanted to tell that story.
Oh my gosh. We have our first meeting at this hospital, and the receptionist, who's literally, her title on the website is called Ambassador of Hugs. Mm-hmm. This woman hugged us. She hugged the both of us outside in the reception area. She took us to the room, the exam room mm-hmm. that we were gonna be in. And this woman, with no hesitation, was like, let's pray.
praying heaven down.
I mean, this woman prayed heaven down.
And I felt, oh my goodness, you guys, which was the grace of God on this whole thing. I felt so excited. And it's crazy because I was so anti this and so angry, like so angry that God would make me do this. So I was taking injections every day still. They upped my medication. So at one point I was taking 4 injections a night. 2 on my hip, 2 on my stomach. And any injection site starts to get really sore. And the thing about IVF needles is that you get a lot of bruising. And I had a lot of bruising on my stomach. And I just every night would have to find an area that didn't hurt to inject these needles.
Guys, but by the time we got to Barbados, Tia started giving herself these injections.
Yeah, Manny gave me an injection, and actually I'll insert that clip right here because it's really cute. Okay, wait, I can't look, so can you just do it quick?
Yep.
And talk to me, don't just... Okay, don't do it while I'm looking. I'm so stressed out. Okay, go. Go, babe. Oh, you did a good job. Oh, it kind of stings. You done? You did so good. So he gave me an injection, but then after some time I was just like, let me just do it, because he had to go preach real quick. Like he flew out and flew right back in to preach, and it was crazy because the amount he got paid to preach was the exact amount we needed to cover extra medical costs that we didn't know we would have. Yeah. So it was so much grace. I just want you guys to, I want to drill that. There was so much grace over this process. And so I was giving myself injections, 4 injections a day which is so much growth and so much grace, because originally I did not think I would be able to do it. And then you get to your egg retrieval, and that is a surgery that the night before the egg retrieval, I got curious and I decided to watch a video of what it would be, and I had a breakdown. We ended up praying. I was crying. I was so scared. I couldn't sleep that night. I woke up super early. Yeah. I was just so scared, because essentially what an egg retrieval is they put you fully asleep. You're under local anesthesia, and then there's a long needle that they put to the back of your uterus, and they essentially puncture sacs of fluid that your eggs are in. And because you're doing IVF, you're producing a lot of eggs at one time. Yeah. I think I had 11. So they're puncturing multiple sacs in your uterus, and they're just drawing out all the fluid that has all your eggs in it. And I was just panicking. That sounded so painful. And I had talked to some friends and watched videos where people were like, yeah, no, the recovery for that it's kind of hard. And I remember that making me afraid too. And so I remember going in, she gave me the local anesthesia, and I woke up and was just like, yo, I did it. I did it. I'm so proud. And guys, I had no pain. None. Yeah. We woke up and walked, went to eat, went back to the beach. No pain. There was so much grace over every single thing. The only thing, it just felt weird to walk a lot because my uterus felt loose. But that's just a weird feeling. It's not painful. And I was just God is so in this, because it didn't hurt. I don't know. Every little thing, I was just so thankful. And so they called us and let us know, hey, you have 11 eggs. And we also didn't even know that was a miracle. Yeah. I mean, so for everyone who doesn't know, you got to watch our other videos about this. I have a low sperm count. And so I was scared, that Tia would produce eggs and I wouldn't have enough sperm to fertilize those eggs, right? The big difference between IVF and IUI is that IVF takes both things out, right? We take sperm out, we take eggs out, put them together. With ICSI, they put them. With ICSI. They inject directly into my eggs. Exactly. Directly injects the sperm into the egg. So the sperm doesn't have to do no work. It has to do no work. And then, based on how well they grow over 5 days. Yeah. It's a 5-day wait. after the egg retrieval to tell you how many successful
embryos
you have.
Then after you get embryos, they reinsert or implant. It's called the implantation day. They implant those embryos back.
Not embryos. It's one typically, but you can opt in for 2.
We did.
So at the most, you can opt in for 2. So the egg retrieval day, I had 11 eggs, which is a miracle because a lot of times they'll call you and say, we're so sorry, this was a failed cycle because you didn't have any eggs. So that was a miracle in itself. And then also the second miracle was that after my 11 eggs, we had like 6 babies. We had 6 embryos that took, and they were growing well, which is another miracle. And then, and they always watch. They say, okay, you have 6 right now, but after a couple of days, it kind of dwindles down a little bit, and we'll see how many you end up with. And so in the end, we ended up with 3, which is still, guys, a miracle.
For sure.
Every step of IVF and every step of even natural conception is a huge miracle. So we had 3 successful babies. And they were like, all right, this is the day you're gonna get your implantation day is this day. And then right after that, we were ready to fly home. So on implantation day, we decided to implant 2. And we were like, yo, we might have twins, we might have 1, you know, we'll see. Manny was praying for twins. I was like, whatever. I'm cool with 1, and if I have 2, that's better than none. I really don't care. And so we did the implantation day. That was like a 3 to 5 minute procedure. It doesn't hurt at all. You're fully awake. That was fine. But even I was nervous for that because I'm just nervous about like territory I've never been in. It's just a little. I
was just sitting next to Tia speaking in tongues the entire time that she got.
And I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I was just like praying that these little microscopic embryos would stick.
Yeah, and so they put them in and they're like, all right, thank you so much. And it's crazy because you're doing all of these injections and pills and oh my gosh, it's for a long time. Like I started taking pills in December and we went in February. So you're doing all that for this 5-minute process. That's the moment that you've been waiting for.
Now you have to wait 2 whole weeks.
Yeah. So they give you a date when you're supposed to take a pregnancy test and you have to take it right when you wake up in the morning. And the cool thing about our date was Manny was on a trip and he forgot. He forgot that it was test day. And I knew he would, and I didn't want to remind him because I knew I wanted to surprise him. Because the thing about doing IVF is you kind of lose the element of being able to surprise your husband with, yo, we got pregnant. So I was excited because I knew Manny's gonna forget. And so Manny was away. I woke up that morning and I took a pregnancy test and it was positive. And I took more than one because I was just trying to make sure. And I was just happy. Like I just was so happy and like, oh my God, we're gonna have a family. Like I'm gonna have babies. Like I can't wait to see what they look like. I can't wait to have a belly. Like this is so exciting. And also I can't wait to tell Manny.
Yeah.
And so he was landing at 3 p.m. I took the test at 6 a.m. because I just woke up and took it. And so I planned to like surprise him with a basket right when he walked in the house. He walked in, he saw the basket and just started screaming and was so excited.
I was so excited. I ran outside and told the mail lady, the neighbors,
he told
random people. Anyone on my street got told that day.
Yeah.
Like I could not contain it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so we were pregnant. And so then it becomes, you start feeling the symptoms. You start just being so excited. It's hard to, like, it was really hard to sleep on my stomach because it felt like I was pushing, I don't know, it just felt like it hurt. Like it felt like if you drink a bunch of water and tried to lay on your stomach, like it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah. I downloaded this app.
We both had an app where every week,
your baby's the size of a blueberry.
We were so excited and we just couldn't wait to tell everybody. Oh my God, that wait was harder for me than the 2-week wait. Oh yeah, this 12-week wait where you can't tell anyone anything. Oh my God. But also, you don't get to see your baby for the first time until 8 weeks. And so we made an appointment and that was a hard wait too because I just wanted to see my baby. So I remember around 6.5 weeks, I started telling Manny, like, I know usually at 6 weeks, people say you get nauseous, like a lot of nausea, vomiting, and I wasn't having any of it. And I was just like, yo, maybe something's wrong, or maybe I'm just blessed with a really good pregnancy.
Yeah.
And I chose to believe that I was, blessed with a really good pregnancy. But also in the back of my mind, I was nervous. And then the other symptoms started fading away. Like, I was laying on my stomach and I noticed, like, yo, this is not as uncomfortable as it was before. I'm not as tired as I was before. My body's not as sore. My appointment finally came, and I remember being really nervous because I knew I could walk out of here really happy or really broken. I knew the reality of it. We went in, laid down, they tried to do an ultrasound just from my stomach, and they couldn't see the baby, and so they had to do the ultrasound the other way that they do it. And I finally saw my baby, but she was kind of quiet and she kept moving around, and I was like, something's wrong. I just immediately knew something was wrong. I knew it. I just knew it. And she just quickly was just like, I'm so sorry, there's no heartbeat. And I just looked at Manny. I didn't say anything. I just was like...
Yeah. Time stopped.
Yeah.
Like... Yeah, I don't even know that I still I don't know that I have the words yet for how I felt. Empty, like angry,
forgotten,
confused.
I felt forgotten by God, honestly.
Shocked.
So we went into another room, and another nurse came in and kind of talked us through
what our options are.
Our options
for removing the tissue.
The baby.
They said the fetus tissue.
Yeah.
And
honestly, I let her talk, and then I was like, I don't want to make a decision right now. I just want to go home. And she was like, that's fine. Just call us. We understand. Like, just call us when you made a decision. And that was it.
It was the single worst day of my entire life.
We just got in the car. I cried the whole way home. I was so angry and just confused and heartbroken. And then we got home, and Manny just started crying. Like,
yeah.
And honestly, that day was just dark.
I feel like I've been a Christian my whole life. I've never been able to understand how someone could love Jesus and then walk away from Christianity. And that day was the first day that I could understand. I was just like, I would have rather us not get pregnant at all. Like, I would have rather IVF not work than to get this big dose of the happiest day of my life, which is finding out my wife is pregnant, then only to be followed up a couple weeks later with
psych.
Psych. I remember getting on the phone with PA, Pastor Andy, and just saying, yo, I've given my whole life to the Lord. Like, everything. I've given my life to the ministry. I've given my life to God. I preach for God. Everything I do is for God. And he couldn't keep my baby's heart beating. Like, what kind of God is that? And if that's what God is like, I don't want to preach for him ever again in my life.
For me, I think my initial thought was just, I couldn't reconcile my faith in the journey of IVF with that moment. I couldn't reconcile it. Why was there so much grace over this whole thing? Like, even getting all the money we needed, to the shots, the surgeries. Why was there so much grace if this was gonna happen? Like, I just couldn't understand from a theological perspective how in the world this was real. And the worst part, honestly, guys, was that I couldn't get the baby removed until 2 weeks after they told us that we had lost the baby. And so every day I just was keenly aware that my baby was dead inside of me. And that ate away at my mind and my emotions every single day.
Yeah.
But also kind of also at night praying that my baby would be resurrected. Because even though I was angry, I still was just like, there's a flickering flame of hope. Like, please, God, just maybe when we go in, they'll check again and there would have been wrong and there'll 100%. Be a heartbeat. And so we went in for the procedure finally after 2 weeks. And I was awake for the procedure. I was under a lot of medication, but I was awake. And that's a little traumatic as well, because I can kind of remember what happened. I remember 2 days after the procedure was the worst of it. So I woke up and I couldn't get out of the bed for a full 24 hours because I was in so much pain. It was just constant, like, contractions, full-on contractions. My back, my stomach, my legs were hurting. I was sweating. I couldn't eat. I was nauseous. And I didn't know at the time, but my body was passing like the last of, I guess, the tissue or a clot or whatever. And it took 24 hours of that for it to fully pass. And when it finally passed, I was just, all of the pain went away. Like
literally instantly.
Once all that tissue passed, I was fine. And I just went to sleep. I didn't even want to think about it. I just went to bed and slept because I hadn't slept in 24 hours because I couldn't.
And I remember, like, I don't remember when it was, maybe 2 weeks after when we removed the baby, you saying, maybe even a week after, it wasn't long, you saying, yo, I wish we could go to Barbados and try again. And I was shocked. Like, I knew if this thing doesn't work the first time, I don't know if Tia's ever gonna
That's
want to
what
try
I
again.
thought. I thought that of myself as well. I'm like, yeah, this has to work the first time because there's no way I'm ever doing this again. And just really seeing the growth that's happened in me.
Yeah.
And we may not have killed the giant of fertility, but man, we have killed the giant of fear. And like, we have. And we didn't win the war, but we won some battles in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And just seeing that and just being thankful that I'm not who I was. And the thought of doing IVF again is not scary for me. It's just annoying. But I have to do it again. And I'm not afraid. And that alone is a miracle as well.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to see the miracle, the tiny miracles, because God is in that. And God is in my sorrow. He's in my pain. I really did feel like Jesus was close to me. And it's crazy because I was so angry at God, but I felt the Holy Spirit every day. And even in my anger, I wanted to listen to worship music and I wanted to read the Word of God. And I just felt close to God. Like he draws close to people with broken hearts, and like truly standing on, like, regardless of what happens, like, blessed be the name of the Lord. Like, you give and you take away, like, and blessed be your name. Like, really living that is hard.
The Lord gives, the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I said that when we came home from the hospital and we found out there was no heartbeat. With tears, I mean, I'm bawling, snotting, crying. And I said, the Lord gives, the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
And that takes maturity.
Good God.
And
maturity
faith.
That I didn't even want, because I'm looking at it from the perspective of, I wish she had never even gotten pregnant.
And now that I used to agree with you on that, but I don't anymore, because now I look back on even that because I was 2 months pregnant, but it was just 1 month of knowing it. I look back at those days and they were so sweet, man. Like, I'm just so thankful that I was able to experience those days. Yeah. And so I used to be bitter about it, but honestly, now I'm just like, that was such a sweet time. Yeah. And I'm even just thankful for that. And guys, I can't believe I'm saying that. Like, because that's not how I felt. And it's not, I want you guys to hear this story while we're in the middle of it, because I want you to see that, like, we're okay. And like, God is still good. God is still good even in the middle of all of this. And he was good and he's gonna continue to be good. Yeah. And my circumstances and life being bad does not negate that God is good. It doesn't. And we really learned that firsthand this year. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for this level of maturity that was probably always in me, but just had never been unlocked. Yeah.
And the level of intimacy that I feel like
For sure. And
we're
it's made our
closer.
marriage stronger.
Yeah, I feel like we're closer than we've ever been.
A lot of people said that IVF sometimes messes up marriages and stuff, but for us, that thing was glue. It was amazing for us.
This has made us have hard conversations with each other, empathize with each other, love each other.
So I know a few people have asked me, I don't know if they've asked you
Definitely
about
people have hit
how
me
they
up.
can just give, I guess, towards our next try.
For sure.
So I mean, if you want to, no pressure, you totally can. We want to be able, like, we want to let people do it if they want.
If people want to bless us, like, I'm always down for people to bless us. Like, some friends of ours even blessed us the last time. But we also know that God is a provider. I know that God is gonna provide. In no way, shape, or form is this like a solicitation. Like, our faith is in the Lord and His provision for this. However, I do know that God blesses people when they give to other people. So like, if you do want to be generous and you do want to give, like, I 100% believe that that what you do for others, God will do for you. So if you want to be a blessing to us and open yourself up to be blessed by God, then like, I'm never gonna stop anyone from doing that.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's probably longer than normal, but it's a long story. And definitely comment and let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like it, subscribe, leave comments.
Share it or send it to someone who you know is going through infertility right now.
Yeah.
Maybe this will encourage them. If you have someone that you know who struggled with a miscarriage, maybe send this video to them. Hopefully it encourages them too.
Yeah, and we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of our journey.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Peace.